Another story talked about this week. Some people say faux controversy. Other people say it's real, and that is diversity in the president's cabinet. Let's show this photo. This is what really got a lot of folks talking, the president meeting. You see Dan Pfeiffer in the tan pants and the blue shirt. That little black leg right behind him, that's Valerie Jarrett. And people were a close friend of the president, senior advisor. And a lot of people talking about the lack of diversity in terms of the president named white men to be head of the CIA, Secretary of State, head of Secretary of Defense. Is this a real issue in terms of the need for diversity, not enough women, not enough minorities in these critical positions?
Look, we're in the second term, and I think many of us said this in the election. President Obama didn't have too much diversity in his first term. If he's starting out the second term with these nominations, all white, all male, some Republican even, and the sisters, you know, I was very hot about the Susan Rice issue. I felt like she got left out to dry. It was a Hillary Clinton problem. It became a Susan Rice problem. And I feel like sisters got passed over for the Supreme Court twice. And so I'm having issues with the diversity. And I love me some Michelle Obama, and I like this White House, but I have problems with the lack of diversity.
You know, here is the problem with the success of the first president. If this were a George Bush or Republican of the past, their feet are held to the fire. Bush had one of the most diverse cabinets ever in history.
Even if it was a white Democrat, yeah, I believe that you would still have significant criticism.
There would be significant criticism. This is the price you pay, and this guy here and his organization in NAACP is not going to criticize this too much because they got the first, and so they're muted on this issue. I'm sorry.
No.
But you're muted on the issue. There's not much you can say.
If you let me talk, I won't be, you will hear that I won't be muted on this issue.
All I'm saying is they cannot take the president to task on this because he's black.
That's a problem.
Now you talk. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I mean, clearly it's an issue. I mean, diversity is an issue whether it's President Obama, Clinton, or Bush. And I think there's a lack of racial diversity, as Charles Rangel had highlighted earlier today, a lack of gender diversity, class diversity, particular spaces like Treasury. I mean, you're only going to have Wall Street insiders as people in important positions. You're going to have people have more analysis and connection to the broader economy. So, no, the NAACP is not going to be quiet because President Obama is not diverse enough. No, that is an important issue, and it needs to be addressed.
Well, not much is going to change. The president, second term, we're going to celebrate him in a week or so on January 21st, and we'll keep moving on.
Speaking of moving on, I want to go to this next topic. This week, we saw the announcement that Myrlie Evers-Williams will be giving the invocation for the inauguration. Also, they announced that Reverend Louis Giglio, a pastor out of Atlanta, was going to give the benediction. Think Progress then puts a story out talking about a sermon he gave 20 years ago that dealt with homosexuality. As a result, big controversy, lots of pressure. He decides to pull out. Folks were asking this week, they say, wait a minute. Is it wrong to force him to pull out of the benediction because he disagrees biblically with homosexuality when you have an individual who's a poet, who's gay, who's Cuban American? They say, wait a minute. Do you silence the voices who disagree, or do you say, I'm sorry, if your beliefs don't line up politically, then you shouldn't speak? I want your panel to weigh in.
You know that I feel this personally. You and I and Jamal Bryant were attacked by someone who shall be nameless back this spring because we don't agree with same-sex marriage. I went on TV, defended the Christian faith position, and got some of the most unseemly, ugly, horrible death threat stuff because I believe that marriage is between a man and a woman. And so what happens is we do get silenced when we don't agree. Now, the president had my same position and our position for, 8 years before he changed his mind and flipped, and it was okay. But now these people like the pastor and others, if people of faith stand up, we are muted, and that's a problem in our country.
You know, look, the issue is not that there's an outcry from the gay community. They have a right to be upset and mad. The issue is, where is the leadership? If you invite someone based on principle, it doesn't matter. That's 20 years ago.
Right.
Let them cry, but you stand your ground and say, you go ahead and do as I asked you to do. But once you begin to silence them, because the gay community did not silence them, the White House silenced him by removing him from the agenda. Out of fear.
I'm not sure.
Thoughts?
Yeah, I'm not sure the White House silenced him. I don't know the inside of that. I don't understand.
According to his letter that he posted on his blog, that there were communications between him and the White House,
yes.
And then his team decided, hey, it'll be best for us not to be a distraction. So he withdrew himself from that. And of course, 4 years ago, Rick Warren was criticized as well because of his views about homosexuality, but he still gave the benediction. But I'm asking the question, though, Can there be a balance? Can there be a balance to say, even if I disagree with you on this, you can still participate? Or is it a question where, because even the statement that came from the President's Inauguration Committee, they said we're going to search for a replacement, and we're going to ensure that whoever we choose, their beliefs are consistent with this administration.
Well, also, I don't understand, because from what I understand, the comment I thought was that he believed homosexuality is a sin. You can believe homosexuality is a sin, but still believe that it's a civil right to be able to be married. Those aren't mutually excluding viewpoints. So I didn't quite understand why he had to step down, because I would assume the White House would not say that if you believe homosexuality is a sin, you cannot be part of the White House, because that would take away so much of his own base. But I do want to highlight, I don't want to overlook Myrlie Everett Williams in her speaking. It is the 50th anniversary of the assassination of Medgar Everett Williams. I think it's important that President Obama, during his inauguration, is recognizing some of these historic moments, whether it's the 150th anniversary of the Emancipation Proclamation, 50th anniversary of the March on Washington for Freedom and Jobs, which is something we have to be fighting for today, because we're still dreaming about jobs.
All right. Well, folks, that was real quick. We're out of time. We got to go.
Yes, sir.
Dedrick, Armstrong, Sophia, appreciate it. Keep hunting. I want to see what you're going to wear next week.
I wanted to hunt for me.
Sophia,